Today I got you. Share this with someone that needs to hear it. Today we're on 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. It says, "Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." And what this tells me is too many times, and God's been convicting me of this too, is that too many times we'll look at the word to learn more about ourselves and not more about God. When you study the word, you're supposed to be like, I always make these Bible study videos, and I always go to group, like at my church and stuff, like my church group. And I was wondering why during my church group, I feel like I learned so much more about God than when I just read on my own. And God convicted me that it's because when I read on my own, I'm trying to see how this applies to my life instead of seeing what God is showing me about his character through his word. That's how we get closer to God, by reading his word and knowing his character more. So when I read this, I realize that God looks at us like, will look and approve us based on our faith. Like, in the Bible, it says it's impossible to please God without faith. So if I'm trying to get God's approval, I should have faith in God. And my faith grows the more I learn about God. That's why it's a study. Because when you study, you're learning more about God and learning more about his character. I think about just time and time again in the Bible, God is showing us his character. When he shows us how patient he is with the Old Testament, is time and time again the Israelite people turning away from it. And I think about how I can see myself as the Israelite people. But also I need to see that we see that God is patient, but at the same time, he has a point where he gets tired of just waiting on us. It's like sometimes he wants us to take action, moving in faith, but too many times we just wait. We wait for God, like, oh God, you got to show me a sign for me to take action. It's like, no. Did God say, like God told Moses, like it took a leap of faith for him to part the sea. It didn't take him just because the people were telling him, oh, there's no way, all this. He had faith to believe that God would use him for his purposes. And when he did, that's when God used him the most. But too many times we're so stuck in how we think God should move that we don't see God move in our life because he's not moving how we want him to move. And that's something God was just convicting me of, is that when we read the word, we should be seeing how God is showing us his character in the word. And when you do that, that's how you believe and grow in your faith. So grow in your faith, believing the gospel that Jesus shed his blood for you today.